Have you ever looked up at the night sky and seen a brilliant, shining star that isn't a star at all? That's Venus, our planetary neighbor, often called Earth's sister planet. But don't let that nickname fool you. While Venus is similar in size and mass to Earth, it's a world of extremes, a place far more hellish than heavenly. Today, we're going to peel back the clouds of this mysterious world and uncover the secrets of the planet named after the Roman goddess of love and beauty. Let's start with the basics. Venus is the second planet from the Sun, orbiting closer than we do. This proximity has a dramatic effect on its environment. Its size is uncannily similar to Earth's. If Earth were a basketball, Venus would be just a slightly smaller basketball right next to it. This similarity in size and composition led early astronomers to dream of a lush, tropical world hidden beneath its thick, perpetual cloud cover. They imagined vast oceans and swampy jungles, a paradise just waiting to be explored. Oh, how wrong they were. The reality of Venus is a stark contrast to these early fantasies. Let's talk about the atmosphere. It's the densest of all the rocky planets, composed almost entirely, about 96.5% of carbon dioxide. This massive blanket of CO2 creates an extreme greenhouse effect, trapping heat with terrifying efficiency. The result? Surface temperatures on Venus average a scorching 465 degrees Celsius or 870 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot enough to melt lead. So, forget tropical jungles. The surface of Venus is hotter than the planet Mercury, even though Mercury is much closer to the Sun, and it gets worse. The atmospheric pressure on the surface of Venus is over 90 times that of Earth's. Imagine being nearly a kilometer, or about 3,000 feet deep in the ocean. The crushing force would be immense. And that's what you'd experience just by standing on Venus. Any spacecraft or probe we send there has to be built like a deep-sea submarine to survive, even for a short time. What about those beautiful pearly white clouds that shroud the planet? They're not made of water vapor like the clouds on Earth. The clouds of Venus are made primarily of sulfuric acid droplets. That's right, it rains acid on Venus. However, because the surface is so incredibly hot, this acid rain never actually reaches the ground. It evaporates in mid-air, creating a cycle of toxic, corrosive weather high up in the atmosphere. You might be wondering, does Venus have days and nights like Earth? Yes, but they're incredibly strange. A single day on Venus, the time it takes for the planet to rotate once on its axis is longer than its year. It takes Venus 243 Earth days to spin once, but only 225 Earth days to complete one orbit around the Sun. Imagine a day that lasts longer than a year. To make things even weirder, Venus rotates backward compared to most other planets in our solar system. This is called retrograde rotation. On Venus, the Sun would rise in the west and set in the east. Scientists are still debating why this is. Some theories suggest a massive collision in its distant past could have knocked it off kilter, reversing its spin. So, has anyone ever seen the surface of this hellscape? Yes, we have. Despite the extreme conditions, humanity's curiosity has driven us to explore. The Soviet Union's Venera program was particularly successful in the 1970s and 80s. The Venera landers were engineering marvels designed to withstand the crushing pressure and intense heat. Venera 9 was the first spacecraft to transmit images from the surface of another planet, giving us our first glimpse of the rocky, desolate Venusian landscape. These probes didn't last long. Venera 13 survived for a record 127 minutes, but in that short time, they sent back priceless data and images of a flat, basaltic rock-covered surface under an eerie, orange-tinted sky. The color of the sky is due to the thick carbon dioxide atmosphere scattering sunlight differently than our own blue sky. The surface itself is a volcanic world. Radar mapping by NASA's Magellan spacecraft in the 1990s revealed a surface dominated by volcanic features. We're talking thousands of volcanoes, vast plains of lava flows, and strange, pancake-like volcanic domes called phaera. Some of these volcanoes may even still be active. Recent data has shown fluctuations in sulfur dioxide levels in the atmosphere and hotspots on the surface, which are tantalizing hints that Venus is not a geologically dead world. It might be erupting right now, constantly reshaping its own surface. Unlike Earth, Venus doesn't have tectonic plates. On Earth, the crust is broken into pieces that move around, causing earthquakes and creating mountain ranges. On Venus, the crust seems to be a single, solid lid. The heat from the planet's interior builds up underneath this lid until it bursts through in massive, planet-wide volcanic events that resurface the entire globe over hundreds of millions of years. This theory could explain why the surface of Venus appears relatively young, with very few impact craters compared to places like the Moon or Mercury. It's as if the planet gets a complete facelift every few 100 million years. Now for a fascinating question. Could life exist on Venus? While the surface is undeniably inhospitable, some scientists have proposed a wild idea. About 50 kilometers, or 30 miles, up in the atmosphere, the temperature and pressure are surprisingly Earth-like. Here, in this temperate zone within the acidic clouds, temperatures range from a comfortable 30 to 70 degrees Celsius. Could microbial life, tiny, simple organisms float and survive in this cloud layer? The discovery of phosphine gas in the Venusian atmosphere a few years ago caused a huge stir. Because on Earth, phosphine is primarily produced by living organisms. While the finding is still being debated and more research is needed, it keeps the tantalizing possibility of life on Venus alive, even if it's just in the clouds. The future of Venus exploration is bright. Several new missions are planned by NASA and the European Space Agency. Missions like Da Vinci Plus will drop a probe through the atmosphere to measure its composition in detail, while Veritas will orbit the planet to create higher-resolution 3D maps of its surface. These missions aim to answer fundamental questions. Did Venus once have oceans? Why did its climate diverge so dramatically from Earth's? Is it geologically active today? Studying Venus is more than just planetary tourism. It's a cautionary tale. It's a natural laboratory for understanding the greenhouse effect. By studying how Venus became a runaway greenhouse inferno, we can better understand the climate processes on our own planet and the potential consequences of atmospheric changes. Venus shows us what can happen when a planet's climate goes horribly wrong. It's our sister planet, but it's a sister that took a very different and much more dangerous path. From its beautiful but deadly clouds to its crushing, furnace-like surface, Venus remains one of the most intriguing and challenging destinations in our solar system. It's a world of fire and pressure, with a retrograde spin and a day longer than its year. It's a testament to the sheer diversity and sometimes terrifying power of nature in our cosmic neighborhood. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey to the morning star, our twisted sister, Venus. If you enjoyed this deep dive into our solar system, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more adventures into the cosmos.